All right, so I've got a interesting thing here I found in the woods while out looking for owls. So let me think. I'm going to name this segment Interesting Shit You Find in the Woods While Looking for Owls. Perfect. So I'm just out cruising around, and disregard the people footprints here because these are mine and another person's. But so I saw this mess on the snow there. It was clearly a bird that had been killed. There's blood and feathers everywhere. And I came upon this and I was thoroughly confused as to what was going on. I could tell that a bird had been killed here, and I could see wing marks in the snow that looked like an owl does when they take prey in the snow. But there's no carcass around, so there's just all these little downy feathers, just like body feathers. But so I was looking for wing feathers or tail feathers or some kind of body feathers that would help me identify what kind of bird got killed here. And I couldn't figure it out, so I called a biologist friend of mine to come down here and help me with the kind of the scene of the attack here and do a little forensic investigation and what happened here, because the plot thickens over here even more. But so what we kind of decided here is that probably there was a duck sitting here. We're right by this kind of spring creek, and there's a fence here too. But our guess was that maybe there was a duck hanging out right here, and we're guessing a great horned owl came in and took it down and was eating it here. And then we're guessing there's some wing beat marks here, like the great horned owl tried to take off and fly with the carcass, but it was too heavy and wasn't able to fly with the carcass. So it looks like it tried to take off, and then over into that little creek over here, where's that? Right about there, there's another set of tracks and stuff coming up off the bank where there's blood. So the carcass got dragged up off the bank there. We're guessing by the same bird, and now I'm going to walk over there and show you why we think that the great horned owl dragged its prey up through the snow. Let's head over that way and continue the investigation. Okay, so made it to the other side of the creek, and here is the bloody trail. So I think what you're seeing here is some wing beats in the snow, and then the bloody trail of the carcass getting dragged up. So we're hypothesizing here that this great horned owl maybe lost grip on its prey or whatever, and somehow reconnected with it, picked it up, and is unable to fly with it. So it's clearly dragging this bloody carcass up through the snow. You can see like where its wing beats are. And then it's almost like it tried to take off here again because its wing beats got heavier in the snow. And then there's like a little gap, and then there's a chunk of its intestine over there. And then you can see that it landed back down right there. So this owl was struggling to fly away with this duck, we think. And then this duck was bleeding everywhere, and like here's its intestine just laid out on the ground right there. Totally gross, of course. But anyway, it just kept going. So this owl was totally trying to take off. It was like doing these leaps, beating its wings and trying to get off the ground, dragging this carcass. Probably a duck. And it comes all the way over here. Keeps dragging it. It's still dragging it. Still dragging it. And then it drags it up underneath this tree. So now we presume this owl is sitting on the ground here. There's a big bloody spot there in the snow. where the owl was presumably eating the duck. And then there were no more tracks. So we couldn't find the carcass. So we were totally confused. We walked around the tree, and there were no more tracks like that exiting the tree, and there's no carcass anywhere. So the plot thickens again. I'm going to walk around to the other side and show you what we found over there. All right, so now I'm under the tree again. The bloody spot on the ground is right over here underneath the same tree. And there's no tracks coming in here other than people tracks from us trying to figure out what was going on. But there were no tracks coming in. But suddenly there's a new track on the ground right here, and some new wing beats in the snow. And then this set of tracks here, they start right here, and then they walk over and they lead straight to the bloody spot on the snow. Now these tracks are way too big to be an owl. So this track, it's probably hard to see in this video, but you know, there's my hand. So that track is that big. And that's a bird. It's like it's three big, it's like the size of my fingers and a thumb. It's like that big. So what we decided is that the owl's sitting over there eating its meal, and an eagle comes flying in through this little gap and lands right here and walks across and walks over there and steals the duck from the owl. And so we still were kind of confused as to where the carcass went. And what we decided is there were no footprints leading away from this area. So what we decided is once the eagle took the duck, it flew out of that little gap right here, and we can see where it's dragging the carcass right here against the snow. And there's a little drop of blood in the snow right there, and is dragging the heavy duck carcass here along the snow as it's flying away. And here's the wing beat, those right there. And another little wing track in the snow. So that's a kind of an interesting scene to try and piece together there. It was kind of fun to try and figure out how that all went down. But pretty crazy stuff. So there's kind of the scene. It all started over there by the fence. Duck gets killed, gets dragged along the snow over here up under the tree well. Then an eagle flies in and lands under the tree well, steals the duck, and then flies away with it right here and went off somewhere else to eat it. Maybe you found that interesting, maybe you didn't. I obviously found it interesting. And now I'm going to continue on my merry way to go look for owls.